multiplication. If I'm dividing and making it smaller, it must go to the left. So the number zeros and 100 is the number of spaces we move. So the decimal is now here. Any open space should be a 0. So over here, we're definitely seeing it we're coming into 0.30, which is the same thing as saying 0.3. That'll convert back and forth. Pretty interesting. I like that. So over here, if you want to just convert easily, we could do so. And all we're doing here is moving over two decimal places consistently. So over here will become 30. Over here will become 35. Over here will become 20. Over here will become 10. Over here is going to become 5. And these are all corresponding to percent. Pretty cool. So let's say that, remember, when you want to give a proportion, it has to be done in here. So next, let's just say I wanted to get back the list again, or the list we had prior, and bring it in. So over here, our list was where the proportion is. We could also come over here, highlight this guy, and enter. And notice how it gets highlighted over here. This right here was supposed to be all the list from list number 3. Actually, label this guy. This was list number 3 over here. So let me label it as list number 3. That's what it is. And this right here is going to be list number 4. Okay. So we label it. So over here, what I could do is I could come over here and divide these guys by 100. So me saying that this is that this will be divided by 100. Oh, I divide. I'm sorry. I was supposed to have multiplied. Let me erase that. So control escape is undo. So you can always do that. Control undo until you get back. Escape is just go when you do your options. So it's not supposed to be division. It's supposed to be multiplication times 100. And notice I have my corresponding with parentheses. But I want to put this into the list that is provided to. So over here, I got to make sure that in this region, if I want to do it this way, I come over here and I relabel it. So over here is supposed to be list 3 or list 4. So I'm going to put out 4, enter it. So now I can go back and I can store it there if I want to go that way. Okay, so over here, I'm not going to store it, so I'm going to put control bar for store, and I'm going to store it to L4. So now, it should be going to L4 when I enter it. Yep. Set, store to L4, and it's supposed to be seeing this. And let's see if that's true. I come over here, and there it is. Very beautiful, very nice. So now let's go ahead and we're going to graph the relative frequencies proportionally to what we're supposed to be doing over here. So what we're going to be seeing here is how this is going to change. So instead of me having frequency here, I'm going to change it and become relative frequency. So over here, we're going to write relative frequency. R-E-L frequency. And over here, you know, it's going to be in proportion. But we're going to see it's proportion because the numbers going here is going to be between 0 and 1. And what's going to happen shortly after, in this region over here, I'm going to be putting the corresponding percentages. I'm going to see how this going to adjust naturally when we're changing. So over here, I'm going to put raw frequency, and I'm going to have this is going to be the percentage. Okay, but I'm not going to do this one until after I get this one in. Okay, I'm going to grab each one individually to see how the scale has to change, how it has to be modified, and we'll see that. Okay, when we get into it. So quickly, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first open up a few more graphs. A graph that's going to correspond to the interval and the proportions. And I'll make another one that's going to correspond with the interval and the percentages. I'll make two more graphs. So once again, how do I do it? I'm going to do menu. Okay. I'm going to go to data. Data, enter. I'm going to go over here to summary plots, enter, and I got to make sure this is correct. So the x value is always supposed to be that corresponds with the measurements. In this case, lower limit. It's supposed to be L1. So I'll make sure I have L1, enter there. And over here, I want to be the proportions. So this should be L3. So I'll have it selected, L3. Enter. And one more thing, I want to do a separate graph. So I want to open a new page. And then enter it. Okay. Oops. New page. Go down, highlight OK, and enter. So it brings us back to the same thing it always does, which is it makes a bar graph. So we're constantly having to adjust. That's what we have to do. We're always adjusting, always adjusting. But one thing I want to let you see here, which is pretty interesting, notice over here, it already adjusted it in terms of proportions and the scales. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So I try to go for the 0.4. So we didn't have to do the adjustment ourselves like what other people have to do. You left out. This one here did here. Your problem is you have bar graphs. You don't want bar graphs. So each one has its own flaw. So once again, how do I fix that? Remember, you go to menu, you go to plot properties, because it's supposed to be a histogram. Enter. Histogram properties. Enter. You want to do the bin settings, and you want to make sure it's equal bin settings. And in here, we're going to keep to the same one we had. It's supposed to be, the width is supposed to be 15, and the alignment is supposed to be at 10. So we're going to keep the same thing, so 15 and 10. And now I could highlight enter and equals, and there we go. All we need to do is pretty much readjust the graph, because they have, remember, we want to make sure that the setting is showing a good part of the graph and not getting cut off like over here. That's not a good graph. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to menu again, and remember, any window adjustments under Windows/Zoom. I'm going to enter. I'm going to put the window, and over here, min is going to go back to 0. Max, we put it at 100, like we did to that other one. Or here it says 0.45, we're just going to make that 4.4. Solid. Okay. And where's the back one? I must have done, let me go back to it again. I must have not entered something correctly. Window, oh, and there it is, I put 10, it's supposed to be 100. Somehow, I didn't write the whole 100. There we go. Now I'm going to OK it. OK, it's highlighted, enter, there we go. A good looking graph. So we know over here, we input the maximum to be 4, which is on the top. So if we want to see the 4, you can go a little higher than 4. We know at the very top, pit top is going to be 4. So we know that over here, we're going to see, notice that the distribution shape didn't change. We got the distribution shape. What changed is the scale. Because our scale is supposed to be values between 0 and 1 for proportion, not nothing higher. So this is bad scaling. So what we're going to do here is we're going to adjust it as such. So thank for us, the partner gave us a good clue to a best scaling for it, And now we chose the same thing, 0.5s, and those are on my other videos. Okay. So over here, we're saying, oh, the best scale is going to be 0.05. And you might be thinking, why, Jermaine? Why are we doing this? Because if I didn't want to graph in the calculator and I want to do it by hand, I have to get the appropriate scaling. Okay? The reason why I'm doing 0.5 is because look at the decimals. Over here, it's 0.5s, or it's in the range of 0.5s, jumps. So therefore, the best scale to do here to get good guesstimations or approximations is do 0.5s scales. So we can get everything to go nice. So scale 0.5, and if that's worse and you can't get all 0.5s in here, within here, you go scale 1. But understand that the midway between them will be the 0.5s. Okay, so it all depends on the limitation of the grid was given. So we had scale, and the aim for was the max to be 0.4. Okay, and let's see if this happens. So over here we have 0, and then we have 0.05, followed by, to make this more obvious, 0.05, followed by 0.1, followed by 0.15. I'm just increasing by 0.5 each jump. Over here 0.2, 0.25, 0.3, 0.35. Well, we didn't get to the max. That's not bad. But hey, this right here happens to be the highest proportion, so we're still safe. If that didn't happen, and it was at 0.6 right here, and this didn't happen, you might want to just go one more up, and hey, there's 0.4 right here, okay, if possible, okay? If there's space and you're able to do that. And that'd be this little hinge right here. So all we're going to do now here is just draw the corresponding rectangles to go with them. So I have to get down so we get this going good. So the first one is supposed to be at 0.3. So 0.3 is right here. So I'm going to get the rectangle to get up there. Try to make it as good as possible. I'm trying to go a little bit fast because we're in a shorter time. And then somewhere over here, well, we have to box it up, first of all. And it's from boundary to boundary, or real limit to real limit. Over here, next one was 0.35, which is actually that little grid line. Got that in there. Next is supposed to be 0.2, but 0.2 is this grid line. So I'll make sure I connect the rectangles there. Next was 0.1, well, that's this grid line. So I'll make sure I connect the rectangles there. Okay. And lastly, 0.05, which is this grid line. So I make sure I connect the rectangles there. Okay. So I'm gonna label these guys appropriately. So remember this guy here was for proportion. So I'll put, since I'm using green, I'll just put it in blue for now. I'm gonna need some space, but this is for proportion. So over here was for proportion. Later on, we're going to find that the scale for the percentages is going to adjust. And pretty much, I'm going to put it down here so it could be easy to see. And I'll put the percent right here. So let me just go ahead and label these guys right here so we can see what's happening. So over here was supposed to be 0.3. Over here was 0.35. Over here was 0.2, 0.1, and 0.05. So from here, now we could definitely convert this to percentage. It's going to be the same graph, and I'll show you right here. It's going to be the same graph when we do percentage one. The only thing that's being adjusted is the scale. And we could adjust it as such over there. So the only thing that's really changing, the shape doesn't change, it's the scale. That's going to be changing when we see it. So let's go back over here, re-enter it, and let's go ahead and get it in there. So what I'm looking at here is, I'm looking at the proportion here, and I'm going to go back to definitely 2.2, and I'm going to now we go to the next graph to be R1 and R4. Okay? So therefore, I'm going to do menu, data, over here, and get the summary plots, enter. And remember, X supposed to be the lower limit, so that has to be R1 in ours. And the summary data is going to be, that's screwed up. When this happens, that's what I mean. Don't want to do that because it doesn't look good. It's pretty nasty. I like it separate. That's what I meant. So when this happens, don't be afraid. All I gotta do is just do Control, undo, and it will undo it. And then we gotta do the process again. So data, enter, come over here to summary plots. Make sure this one here is this one, and over here is this 4. And then I select how to enter and okay, and I did it again, smart guy. I thought I changed it, but I went straight down. Come on, Jermaine. Don't mess with that. Okay. finally. And notice how over here the scale changed and adjusted naturally. But first and first, I gotta get this to go good, because if I were to make this be my export or my capture, I gotta make sure it's good. So once again, menu, property, histogram properties, bin equals bin, and once again, it's supposed to be 15 width, so delete that, 15 width, and lower limit 10. So that's part of the one we have to adjust. That's good. Now I'm going to adjust the window to be consistent for all the other ones. So I'm going to go to menu and hit Windows this time. Windows settings, and I'm going to keep consistent. So 10, 100. And over here, we can just make that go to 40, because when we convert 0.4, it converts it to 40%. Okay, and now I'll enter that. And now it looks like all the other graphs that we've seen. So I'll come over here and say, okay, what was the other graph? When I go over here, notice graph 4 looks the same. The only difference is the scaling. When I go to the other graph, which is on the first graph, different frequency, looks the same. The only thing that changed was scaling. Okay, so they look the same, but the scaling we adjusted so the graph is probably the same. One is much greater than the other, and we see that happen when we look at the TI-84. You can say, oh my God, you can definitely see the difference because it's in one grid. Over here, these are separate grids. Okay, so let me just go back over here to the percentage one. Now we notice that for proportion, we just move to the right 2 decimal places, we locate times by 100%, and all the like 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3 became 10, 20, 30. So everything is being adjusted consistently, or adjusted proportionally. So we want to write the percentages over here properly. We know that our proportions here for percentage was that the max we aimed for was 40. We aimed for it, so it's going to appear a little bit. And over here, the scale was actually 5%. And we see that there. So therefore, I wish we could just adjust the scale so we can see the inner grids, so we can see how the grids happening here. But sometimes it doesn't work the way it does. I wanted to for this one. But I'll find out how that works. I will. I like doing when I can control the scale. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 right here. And obviously right here would have been 40. Okay. So I notice that when I readjust the scale and I go based on the percentages, I'm just really multiplying each of these guys by 100. And we have our new scale. So over here is actually what's the 30%er. Over here is the 35%er. Okay. Just moving it over twice. 1, 2, bam. That's all I'm doing in my head. Over here, 20%er. 10%er. 5%er. And everything looks good. So we could literally erase all the portions, and we have the graph, and then we just make percentages. So that's all the frequencies for us. So I showed you guys how we could get it by hand. Okay, the process is doing it by hand, and how we can use a calculator. But the sad part for this one here, what we caught on to is, unlike the TI-84s and the Casillos, we're unable to adjust the proportions into decimals through the list. So keep that in mind. We can't adjust the proportions through the list. We have to adjust it through calculating. That's why I like to keep calculation open, the list open, and the graph separate. So because sometimes I need to go back and forth when we're doing this. But once again, the more you practice, the better you get it, the more efficient you become. The more I practice it, the more I teach it more, the more efficient I'll become too. So I won't be trying to find approximation that doesn't exist, with other arrows that others have, which this one should be having, but I mean, it's okay. You don't have to worry about that. But other than that, just watch out for those adjustments. You could read through the videos, but I do apologize for the parts where I got stuck and I was trying to figure out how to approximate and how to get it to do what it needs to do. Okay? So, thank you, and stay tuned for another frequency.